Hey folks, Brian here again. As I was walking through the property, right at the beginning portion of our habitat garden by the ponds, I came across this little beauty right here. Does anybody want to guess what this is? It's a Serviceberry bush, also known as a shad bush, also one of the species in the Amelanchier genus. They are going to produce some very tasty berries soon. I would recommend trying them when they're ripe, not before, because they will actually cause a little gastrointestinal issues if you eat them while they're not ripe. But once they're ripe, very tasty treat. However, the problem is you're gonna have to fight off some birds if you decide to take part in this snack, because it is a very, very bountiful food source and a very loved food source for many birds. Cedar waxwings, one that I notice quite often in this tree, taking as many berries as they can handle. The serviceberry gets its name from the time of the year in the spring when the actual flowers start to bloom and appear for us. It has a little bit of a morbid backstory, but a very interesting one nonetheless. See, a long time ago when folks would pass away during the winter months, the ground would be too frozen to be able to actually hold funeral services and inter people into a cemetery, into the ground. When the serviceberry started to bloom, the townspeople, the people in the village, wherever, would realize that the ground was thawed enough to actually hold their funeral services and actually be able to then bury the dead that passed away over the winter months. So when the serviceberry would bloom, the ground was thawed enough to hold funeral services, hence the name Serviceberry. Kind of cool, kind of morbid, but pretty unique nonetheless, possibly even uniquely American. I don't know. It is a native shrub. Another name, common name for this, is the shad bush, which also happens to be, it gets its name from the time of the year that it blooms. Also happens to be the time of the year when the shad, which is a type of fish, start to migrate upstream to spawn. So those are pretty cool names. Now, I used the word Amelanchier before to describe, or to, that's basically the taxonomic name for this plant species. More specifically, that is the taxonomic designation for the genus. There are several other species within that genus of serviceberry. One of them is canadensis. I believe that's what these are, but without actually being able to see the leaves and I'd have to look a little bit more closely at the flowers. I'd be able to tell you. If anybody knows and wants to add a comment below this video, let us know. I'm sure our viewers would love to be able to identify this down to species. But it is still a native plant nonetheless, fruit bearing and very tasty.